Welcome back to the Taiwan Outlook. I'm your host, Wu Ruiguo. In this segment, we will continue our conversation with Dr. Wen-cheng, the president of the Taiwan Foundation for Democracy. Wen-cheng, I'm going to ask you in this segment on the first objective that you identified for the Taiwan Foundation for Democracy, which is deepening Taiwan's democracy, sort of enhancing, upgrading Taiwan's quality of democracy. How does the foundation plan to do that, in addition to the various activities that you mentioned in the earlier segment?
Well, I think first of all, we work very closely with civil society or non-governmental organizations in Taiwan.
NGOs.
To pay attention to the underprivileged groups in Taiwan. For example, Aboriginal peoples, or women's rights in the countries. So we sponsor a lot of projects organized by those NGOs in Taiwan. And secondly, I think I think the young generation is very important.
Yes.
So we focus, we emphasize the importance of education, and we would like to encourage the young generation's participation in Taiwan's democratic society. So we have an organization for young, college students, young generations, and we provide some fundings for them here to organize a lot of activity, including study groups, study, a lot of countries' democratic changes. For example, TAIDA, we call it TAIDA, Taiwan Youth for Democratization in Asia. That's the organization's name. And they pay attention, pay a great deal of attention to Burma's case. So I think that's good. Our young generation should not just focus on Taiwan's case. They should reach out to care about other countries'
especially
situation.
In Asia. Yes.
So I think that's very important for our young generation to develop that kind of international outlook. And of course, to educate our young generation is very important too. So we, I think we designed a democracy education website. We work with the Department of Political Science of National Taiwan University. Actually, from the beginning, it's a contest. We, invite a lot of, website designer to create the website. But, those designers may not have very good ideas about democracy. So we work with, National Taiwan University. To improve the context of the websites. And up to, I think recently we are going to get it done. And we will work with Taiwan's Teachers Association. And then we will provide free copies for the teachers in elementary school and middle schools teaching about civics course, to use our website. So I think that's also very important. So I think, and we also organize a debate on democracy among college students.
Good. That happens every year?
It started from last year. But we would like to make it an annual event.
Good. So there are a number of different activities going on. But like you said earlier, Wen-cheng, that Taiwan has a very young democracy. And we have so many different political interests. And although now there is that Taiwan Foundation for Democracy, as its president, how do you then balance the different competing interests that may exist in our society?
Well, as I said, we don't, we provide funding to, those who apply for our support. We don't, we don't care about their, political backgrounds, their colors, political color is so free. What is a political color? So whether they are, green or blue. I think, we have a reviews process. We send every application to outside reviewers. I'm sure you review our case before.
I'm one of them.
You are quite objective. So I think, that's one way to make sure that, we can be politically neutral. And secondly, the design of this foundation is based on the consensus among political parties, as I mentioned at the beginning. So we reserve a certain percentage of our budget for political parties.
Okay.
But they should be qualified to use this budget first. Okay. They should have at least 5% of the seats in our Congress. Otherwise, those political parties we are not qualified.
That threshold.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So it's quite fair. So we have a rule of game for those political parties.
Very clear. Yes.
Yeah.
And also, I understand that there's also the academic part that the foundation plays.
Yeah.
For example, the quarterly publication. And can you tell us a little bit about the academic dimension that the Taiwan Foundation for Democracy would like to play?
I think the academic community is very important because you need somebody to think about a lot of issues, a lot of problems. Those NGO, they are activists.
Yes. Practitioners.
Practitioners. But you need to have somebody to think about the problems, the issues. So we work with academic communities a great deal. We work with leading university in Taiwan, to organize a seminar, conference. I think that's one way to get the academic community to be involved in our operation of the TFD. But about the journal, I think we are very proud of the journal.
Yes.
It's quite a young too, but it is one of the TSSCI journals, Taiwan Social Science Citation Index. So we are quite proud of that, and I think we published more than 2,000 copies,
yes.
And we send about 400 copies to mainland China.
Okay.
But sometimes we wonder whether our journals were welcomes in mainland China or not. But now I think we are quite certain they welcome our journals because we receive a thank note from the library of Beida,
yes.
Beijing Universities, and I went to mainland China last week.
Okay.
And those readers, those scholars in mainland China told me that they welcome our journals because they believe our journal is quite academic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we would like to, we would like to educate them, or let them know what is going on in Taiwan, what is the real democracy, what is the values of democracy.
Get exposure to democracy.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And also one other thing that we know is, of course, the foundation was set up 6 years ago with a consensus among the major parties, but also with the support of the government.
Yes.
And in addition to Taiwan's very impressive economic growth, one thing that we're very proud is our democratic transformation. And so in terms of your relationship, the foundation's relationship with the government, and also in terms of exporting our experiences in democratic transformation, how do you then coordinate the functions of the foundation with government's effort, especially in the conduct of foreign policy?
Well, I think nowadays we are talking about soft power. Democracy is soft power.
No more military power. Yes.
Human rights is soft power too.
Yes. The economic strength is.
And the image of a country is about soft power. Taiwan became a democracy. Let me tell you my own stories. In 1980s, I went to the United States to study. I defined our government's policy why Taiwan could not become a democracy. And my American students, my classmates, believe that I was brainwashed by our government, And after Taiwan became a democracy in 1990s, my classmates, come to see me, and I said that Taiwan is a democracy, I think I say that with a great deal of confidence.
Yes.
And they acclaim that Taiwan is a real democracy, So we have the confidence. We share the same values with other countries. So now, Taiwan become a democracy. Of course, we tried, as President Ma said, we don't really tell other countries how to do, we don't intervene in other countries' domestic affairs.
Yes.
We just assure them that Taiwan is not selfish. We provided, fundings for those organizations to do, training, civic education to help underprivileged group of their own countries.
Yes.
And then it shows that Taiwan is not selfish. We would like to share our experience, but we don't tell them how to do it.
No.
So it's about shared soft power. It's very important. A lot of American friends or international friends told me that you have done a wonderful job, and it shows that Taiwan's case is a successful one. So by doing so, I'm sure that we create a soft power for Taiwan.
Yes. And before we end this segment, Wen-cheng, I have one other question regarding the future of the foundation. We understand that in the past 6 years, and out of the 6 years, you've been the president for what, 4 years?
Well, 2006 to now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
3 years.
3 years.
But the first 3 years, I was one of the vice president. Yeah.
Yes. And how do you then, based on your experiences, 6 years now in the foundation, that you envision the foundation will move in the future? What are the future directions and the emphasis of the foundation in future activities?
Well, I think we would like to create more, major projects and to get, more international organizations to be involved. For example, we would like to encourage, Korea's democracy foundations, and we would like to encourage Japan to establish a democracy assistance foundation because Japan has the money.
Yes.
But Japan is always very conservative in doing so.
Yes.
And we will continue to work with the National Endowment for Democracy of the United States.
Yes.
We are partner for more than 5 years. Or since our foundation was established, we have had wonderful partnership with the National Endowment for Democracy.
Yes.
And we would like to reach out in Europe.
Okay.
European Union just established a democracy assistance foundations.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So there will be more international cooperation in the future.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to the Taiwan Outlook, and we will continue this conversation with Dr. Wen-cheng, President of the Taiwan Foundation for Democracy. And we're going to talk about a different role that Dr. Lin plays. I'll tell you about it in 3 minutes.